Welcome back to the King's Corner. I am the King Fan Man, and E3 Mania is officially in full swing with just a couple of weeks to go. That's right, I said weeks. We are less than a month away from E3, and the hype is getting crazy, and it is guaranteed to get even crazier and crazier as each day draws us closer. Well, since E3 is all on our minds, I thought today I would bring you the 7 new games that I really want to see at this year's E3. And by the way, there are so many more games than 7 that I'm looking forward to, but I had to put the limit on it somewhere. So with that said, let's jump right in. Number 7 on our list is the game Anthem. Now, even though we saw a little teaser of Anthem at last year's E3, it was enough to get me excited about this sci-fi open-world game from BioWare, the makers of Mass Effect. Now, speaking of Mass Effect, BioWare is in need of a great showing from Anthem because so many were so disappointed with Mass Effect Andromeda. From what we saw last year of Anthem, it looks amazing, and it just might be the game to put BioWare back on the map. With a co-op mode, this game looks like it would be so much fun for you and a friend, with the ability to traverse through the air, through water, and on the land. At the very least, I know I'm going to give this game a try. Number 6 on our list is Cyberpunk 2077. Now, no matter what you may think about The Witcher 3, CD Projekt Red made a huge splash and is now considered one of the best developers, so it is no surprise that everyone has great anticipation for their next game. Cyberpunk 2077 is an adaptation of a classic tabletop game, Cyberpunk 2020. It is set 57 years later in the dystopian Night City, California. Little more is known about what this game truly is going to be, which is one reason I cannot wait to find out more about it this year at E3. Now, I'm not near as hyped for Cyberpunk as the true fans of CD Projekt Red, but at the very least, I'm very intrigued, and it is certainly on my list of games I want to give a try. Number 5 on our list is The Last of Us 2. How could you not be excited for the next installment of The Last of Us, with the first game being universally considered one of the best games ever made? Developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony, the original was released on June 14, 2013, and we are now looking at a release for Part 2 in late 2018 or early 2019. This game has been teased since 2016, so people are beyond ready to see more and finally get their hands on this game. The Last of Us 2 looks to be an even darker and more exciting game than the first one. I cannot wait! Number 4 on our list is Rage 2. Now that we know for sure that we're getting Rage 2, we are starting to get more information on the game, and the more I learn, the more excited I become. Now, the first Rage was made by id Software and was released in 2011. It was a great game, but it didn't sell very well, so many missed out on the post-apocalyptic thrill ride. Rage 2 is also made by id, but this time, Avalanche Studios is joining them, the makers of Mad Max and Just Cause. They have partnered with id on this game, and that means Rage 2 will be a much more open world with much more vehicle combat than the last game. This partnership has just made me more excited for this game. Hopefully there will be many new people discover this cool universe this time around. I cannot wait to see more at E3 and then play this game this year. With the crazy cars and gadgets, especially the bladed boomerang, this series is so unique, and with what id did with Doom, I am expecting an epic game. Number 3 on our list is Doom 2. Now that Rage 2 has been revealed, sadly, we may not get Doom 2 this year, but whenever it comes, this is one of my very favorite franchises of all time. id Software took the most famous and possibly best first-person shooter of all time, and they rebooted it into a modern classic. I am so ready for the next installment of Doom. I don't care about the story. I just want to run and gun and kill as many demons as I possibly can. Number 2 on our list is Red Dead Redemption 2. In my opinion, the only open worlds that can even compete with Bethesda Game Studios' worlds of Fallout and the Elder Scrolls are the ones that are made by Rockstar. Now, even though Bethesda Game Studios will always be my very favorite, the first Red Dead Redemption was an amazing game that I spent way too many hours playing. I love the Old West setting, and I am so excited to put back on my gun belt and cowboy hat and hit the trails. We have waited a long time to revisit this universe, with Red Dead Redemption being released back in May of 2010. Thankfully, the wait is almost over. That brings us to number 1 on the list, the very top game that I'm looking for at this year's E3. What is that game? Of course, it's the game Starfield. What can I say about Starfield? Well, not very much, since we don't know anything about it. Everyone assumes it's the next game that will be released by Bethesda Game Studios, the makers of Fallout and the Elder Scrolls. Now, all of this speculation is based on one thing, a trademark that was filed by ZeniMax way back in 2013, but it has been updated and expanded 4 times to include both merchandise and mobile games. We think Starfield will be a space or sci-fi game, and of course it will be an open world with all of the things that we love about Bethesda Game Studios games. Bottom line for me, I could care less whether we go to space, whether we go back to Tamriel, or even back to the Fallout universe. All I know is I want a new Bethesda Game Studios game. Any game. They have been, are, and probably will always be my very favorite games, and they always cause me to leave every other game that is currently on the market just to play them. Come on, Bethesda Game Studios, please, give us a game this year, please. Well, that's going to do it. That's the top 7 new games I really want to see at this year's E3. And by the way, as I said, there are many, many more games I'm expecting and looking forward to this year. In fact, this year is shaping up to be the best E3 in a long, long time. Thank you for stopping by the King's Corner today. If you're not subscribed, do it now for much, much more about E3. This craziness is just getting started, so stay tuned. I am the King Fan Man. I'll see you next time.